I'm LJF Hutch, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to paint foliage using custom brushes. Okay, so we're going to start off by using a mid-tone color, and you want to use a grungy brush for this. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to start painting in these foliage clumps above the trunk. So this is on a new layer above the trunk. We're going to paint in these thick foliage clumps like this, and make sure they're very thick around the edges. And then what we're going to do is we're going to choose the eraser, and we're going to use that same brush we were just using then. I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to delete most of that foliage and just leave the edge bits there. And then we're going to go and finish off all the foliage like that. Then we're going to choose our highlight color, or the lighter color, and we're going to paint just above what we've just done then. And finish all the foliage off like that. And then we're going to go back with the eraser again, and we're actually going to delete most of that and just leave the bits above what we just had before. And then on a new layer below the trunks and below all of that foliage, we're going to choose our darkest color. This is going to be the shadowed foliage. And we're just going to start painting in underneath all of that foliage, and we're just going to give the tree some depth. Okay, so this is that brush I was talking about before. It's just a sort of randomized grungy brush. And I found that it works a lot better than a brush which actually has a photograph of a leaf incorporated into it. It gives much more realistic results. Okay, so this next part is we're going to actually make a texture. And this is what I made earlier. It doesn't really matter what the texture is, it just needs to be random and have lots of contrast in there. And you can use a photograph of a tree or something as well. And we're just going to put a layer mask on that. I'm going to start painting on that layer mask and revealing parts of that texture over the top of our foliage. And I'm just using a variation of that brush, that grunge brush I was using just a second ago, and it's just got less on it, so it only reveals a slight amount as you're painting on top. Alright, so this next step is going to involve creating a shadow layer. So we're going to start off by getting a normal brush. I'm just going to use a textured rectangular brush here. And we're painting on a new layer above everything else that is a multiply layer on 70% opacity. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to choose a dark blue. I'm going to start painting in areas which will receive less light. So we're just going to paint in all these shadowed areas. And what this is going to do is it's going to add definition between the clumps of foliage. And how you can do this is you can blend out, like here, I'm blending out the top half quite slowly, and the bottom bit of the foliage is actually overlapping, where it's sitting in front of that other bush, so it's going to have a harsh outline. And this is a really effective way of showing what parts of the foliage are where on the tree or the bush. Alright, so you just want to go through there and finish off all these areas which have shadow on them. And you don't want to overdo this though, because if you overdo it, you're going to ruin the effect a bit. And once you've done all of that, we're going to actually ground this foliage. So we're going to choose a grass brush on a new layer above everything. We're going to get like a shadowy sort of color, so a dark brown. We're just going to start painting in front of all of that foliage. And you just want to bring that along. And you want to choose a lighter color and go over that. And what it's going to do is just going to ground it and make the trees feel part of the scene. And you can add in some other colors, some more variation into that grass, and make it fit. Okay, and that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial and learned something, and I'll see you next time.